Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello. This is Matt Truman. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for sharing with a friend. That's what I used to say when I did the radio version of this podcast. Now we're doing video, so thank you for watching live, or thank you for watching later. So essentially what we're going to do today is we're going to go through some of the stories that I've found this week, and we're going to try to take about 15 to 30 minutes, wrap it up into a little chunk, and give it to you tonight. So let's go with our first story. We all know what happened on this, basically this time last Saturday. We went live early last Saturday. We usually go live at 10 o'clock p.m., but we know what happened. It was this, and this is a Greg Reese report. I like playing the Reese reports, so check it out.
According to a CNN report, Thomas Crooks purchased a 5-foot ladder on his way to the rally and was able to somehow carry this ladder along with his rifle to a building with a direct line of sight to Trump's podium, a building that was occupied by heavily armed police.
Tonight, ABC News has learned that heavily armed local police were stationed inside that building and missed Thomas Crooks climbing up the outside of the building to the roof.
With rifle in hand, Crooks used this ladder to climb the building and was spotted on the rooftop 30 minutes before he opened fire. He was photographed by police and reported 25 minutes before the shooting. He was even confronted while on the roof before the shooting.
The local police officer climbed up the roof and confronted Brooks moments before the shooting.
The officer grabbed hold of the edge of the building, pulled himself up to be able to look. And according to what he's told me, shooter turned, rifle was pointed at the officer. The officer, defensive move, kind of ducked, fell, lost his grip on the building.
Bystanders began pointing out Crooks to police a full 2 minutes before he opened fire.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. You see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
The defensive sniper detail was looking directly at him a full 40 seconds before he opened fire and allowed him to fire a few shots before taking him out. The first shot fired grazed Trump's right ear as he turned his head towards the shooter. Had he not turned his head, he would have been murdered on live television.
We call that DRT, which means dead right there. And so what that means is all sympathetic, parasympathetic nerve response is gone because I've just basically severed your central nervous system. Whether it's right here or from the side, you're looking right about here at the ear, it's going to sever that central nervous system, and it means everything stops. It's lights out. The fact that it literally grazed him, I mean, we're talking about a matter of like a half a degree difference.
I just turned my head to show the joy, and something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito.
According to a classmate, Crooks was shooting competitively as early as his freshman year and was a member of a local gun club. So he's been training with a rifle for at least 5 years. And the mathematics submitted by Mike Adams and verified by Michael Yawn suggest that the shots were fired by Crooks. So far, Crooks is an enigma, which fits the profile of a mind control assassin. But either way, this was undoubtedly an inside job to assassinate President Trump and leads directly to Mayorkas. Viktor Orban has been privately meeting with Ukraine President Zelensky, Russian President Putin, and former President Donald Trump to negotiate a peace deal. And Putin recently announced that he is open to discussing this further.
Well, you know, the fact that Mr. Trump, as a presidential candidate, says that he's ready and wants to stop the war in Ukraine, we take that very seriously. Well, I haven't seen his ideas on how exactly he's going to do that, and that is the key question. But I have no doubt that he says that sincerely, and we support that.
Astrologers have been predicting events around a rare planetary transit occurring on July 15th, involving the star Algol, known as the Demon Star. which represents Medusa's beheading and is considered to be one of the most violent and unfortunate stars in astrology. And the assassination attempt occurred on the same day as the Bohemian Club's occult ritual, the cremation of care at the Bohemian Grove, where an effigy is sacrificed in fire. Whether you call them the Illuminati, the Deep State, or the Synagogue of Satan, they do not want peace. But America lives to fight another day. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
All right. There it was. That was the report from Greg Reese. I'm going to bring up, this is something that was interesting. There's a guy by the name of Brandon Herrera, and he's over on Twitter. I'm going to bring that up in just a second. But they put a ballistic dummy out, right? A ballistic person, and they shoot the exact shot at the ballistic dummy's ear, and they show it. I'm just going to show it to you. Why am I talking about it? Let's just show it, you idiot. All right, here we go. Right there, sharing. All right, check this out. Let me go full screen on it.
What'd they say? Don't get your ears pierced at Claire's.
Good night.
When Trump said it felt like he got hit by something, you can see the vibration. It'd feel like someone kind of slapped you on the ear.
I was just going to say, I'm actually personally surprised that it had that much temporary cavity, that much expansion. That's wild. What'd they say? Don't get your...
All right. So that was that. I thought that was interesting to show that already. I was going to go out to the range myself because if you remember last Saturday, if you were listening in, I was thinking, man, that sounds an awful bit like a 22. So I'm going to shoot a 22 and shoot a AR and see, kind of line it up. I'll make a video out of it or something. Anyway, here we go. Next news story. We got, oh yeah, this, did you guys hear about this? CrowdStrike update that calls global outage likely skipped checks. Experts say that's, I mean, I took my dog to the vet the other day and they were dealing with this. Unbelievable. Yeah. I couldn't pay for it because their card machine was down. They didn't have any of their records up. So it's a new puppy. So the records weren't up. That we adopted a new puppy. Security experts say CrowdStrike's routine update of its widely used cybersecurity software, which caused clients' computer systems to crash globally on Friday, apparently did not undergo adequate quality checks before it was deployed. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think, because there's a lot of conspiracy theory out there that this is a dry run for what's actually happening, what's actually going to happen. I don't know, folks. Got to have cash on hand. I wasn't so much a prepper a few years ago, but I am today. Got to have some cash on hand. You got to have ammo, got to have weapons, got to defend your property. Well, if you're in America anyway, this is going out on X and YouTube right now. So there's that. Let's keep on trucking. I got some other news stories. Let's go to, we'll stay in the election news realm. This is from the Washington Post, right? Kamala Harris's first presidential campaign was a failure. Has she changed? Now, I'm wondering, because this is Washington Post, right? This is the Democrats' lovebird here. Kamala D. Harris was heralded as the inheritor to Barack Obama's coalition when she launched her presidential campaign in January 2019. Exited the race 10 months later. Her aspirations asphyxiated by declining cash. Yeah. So are they really going to choose her? What do you guys think? I don't know. I could be wrong. They may choose her. I mean, she is next in line. If you look at the vice president, if Biden's allowed to exit, right? Or chooses to exit or whatever. All right, let's keep trucking. There's something along those lines. Let's pull this up. This is from Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge, ladies and gentlemen. Dems plot loophole of rebellion. Huh? If Biden won't step down, while Joe Biden is decidedly dug in and isn't going anywhere, Democrats, the party of democracy, is on the ballot. Are we plotting a loophole? If Biden refuses to step aside or drop out of the race, folks, it's like this. First of all, we don't live in a democracy. Where's it at? Right here. Democracy is on the ballot. No, the United States is a republic. It's a constitutional republic. Anytime they keep throwing this word democracy, democracy, democracy at you, it's for a reason. I believe that. I believe that. All right. I'm going to keep on trucking, folks, because we're going to get this out. We're going to get all these cool stories or not so cool stories, depending on where you are. Here's something from my home state of Ohio, and it's something I think everyone should be aware of. The NTSB has given their final report, and this is from the Reason Foundation. Commentary by Mark Scribner. The agency's findings suggest that a major legislative response from Congress is not needed to advance rail safety. Wow, how many rail accidents have we had over the past, decade? Quite a bit. I know when I was a kid, we had one that happened in a city called Miamisburg, and it was bad. So what's it say? On June 25th, the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, held a public meeting to vote on the final findings, probable cause, and recommendations that follow from its investigation of the February 3rd, 2023 trail derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. The full video of the more than 7-hour meeting is available here. So if you guys go here, you can watch the full video if you want. The final report will be released in the coming weeks, but the NTSB has, in the interim, released a summary of its findings and non-binding recommendations. Well, of course they're not binding. The NTSB is a bureaucratic organization that only gives recommendations, right? So that's where Congress needs to step up and say, no, we need to actually make some changes to the safety and the well-being of the public, right? Obviously it does. And if you watch the RNC, then you would have saw the mayor from East Palestine give a speech. I thought it was well done for being a small town mayor. He did a great job. Maybe we'll reach out to him to see if he'll come on this broadcast. I don't have too many folks come on here, but when I do, usually it's a local guy or somebody that's close to Ohio. Let's get into some of the war news, folks. This is something I don't like to talk about, and hopefully we won't for much longer. This is DNYUZ. Israeli jets bomb sites in Yemen linked to Iran-backed Houthi militia. Perhaps you saw the videos on X or YouTube or whatever. They bombed. It looked like the port of Yemen was on fire, man. It's wild. Pray for all those that are not involved in this back and forth battle. Israel, the civilians, right? Israeli fighter jets bombed sites in Yemen affiliated with the Iran-backed Houthi militia on Saturday in retaliation for a deadly drone attack in Tel Aviv a day earlier. According to 4 U.S. officials and 2 regional officials, it was the first time Israel has publicly attacked a group in months of escalating tensions. The Israeli airstrikes targeted gas and oil depots. That must have been the big fire, right? And of power stations in the area of Yemen's Red Sea port of, I'm not even going to try to attempt that, Okay, so I'm not going to attend. The 2 regional sources said the port is controlled by the Houthis and is the site of oil export facilities, but it is also vital conduit for civilian goods and humanitarian aid to impoverished Yemen. It's a bit of a poor country, folks, and there's a lot of civilians that have to deal with all this crap, and yet, I don't know, man. What do you say to something like that? You know, Israel's got attacked on October 7th. It was horrible. It was disgusting. It was inhumane. It was satanic. I mean, whatever you want to say about it. But the retaliation's been brutal on civilians. We got to, I don't know, we got to do better as humanity, really, right? Let's hope we can. All right, we're at about 15 minutes. I'm going to keep chugging along here. Let's stick on this tone here with Israel and Lebanon. State media says civilians injured in Israeli strike. An Israeli airstrike in Lebanon, about 30 kilometers from the border, injured civilians on Saturday, Lebanese state media said, after Hezbollah and its Palestinian ally Hamas fired rockets and explosive-laden drones at Israel positions. So, you know, it's this back and forth. What can be done for peace? We should honestly think about that. What can we do to bring about peace? Donald Trump, he signed a peace deal for the Middle East, and nobody really talks about that much. Hezbollah has traded near daily crossfire with the Israeli forces in support of Hamas since the Palestinian military group's October 7th attack on southern Israel triggered war in Gaza. This is over on Barron's. You guys can check that out as well. Unreal, man. Unreal. The civilians are just caught up in all this. And let's hope that broader war with Lebanon and Israel doesn't kick off, where they're sending in tanks into Lebanon, because then Iran gets in, and then Russia gets in, and then the U.S. gets in, and, well, U.S. is already supplying. You know, I don't know. We're supplying too much war material for people to use. That's my thought. I would like to hear your thoughts on that. Let's go to Russia and Ukraine. Let's check this out real quick. We only got a couple left. The Telegraph. Russia sentences U.S. journalist Evan Gershkovich to 16 years for espionage. I guess I can go ahead and play this video.
Are you tired of walking into furniture stores only to be disappointed by prices and pushy sales? Look no further.
Так, провозглашается приговор именем Российской Федерации 19 июля 2024 года, город Екатеринбург, Свердловский областной суд в составе председательствующего судьи Нинеева. Руководствуясь статьями 307, 308, 309 Уголовно-процессуального кодекса Российской Федерации, суд приговорил Гершковича Ивана признать виновным в совершении преступления, предусмотренного статьей 276 Уголовного кодекса Российской Федерации, и назначенным наказание в виде лишения свободы на срок 16 лет с отбыванием исправительной колонии строгого режима.
All right, that's from the Telegraph, folks. And it wouldn't be out of the realm that Russia is using some of this as political fodder. I don't know what else to say about it. It's terrible. If he is truly a journalist, which I believe he works for the New York Times, espionage. What did he do? Is he reporting on something they don't like? Who knows? Last story, folks, and then we'll get out of here. We're at about 20 minutes. We're doing pretty good tonight. Russia-Ukraine war list of key events. This is kind of important. Day 876. As the war enters its 876th day, these are the main developments. This is pretty good. This is out of Al Jazeera, 20 July 2024. This is where the war stands on Saturday, July 20th, 2024. And it says fighting. A Russian missile hits a children's playground in Ukraine's southern city of Mykolaiv, killing a child and 2 adults and injuring 5 others. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Telegram, Vitaly Kim, the regional governor, praised residents who were rushed to the site to help before medics arrived and said another missile had landed elsewhere in the region. Folks, civilians get caught up in these wars all the time. We need to hold, especially in the United States, we need to hold our leaders accountable for funding war, not only, but for getting into war and for not being the beacon of our republic and showing the world that, yeah, we are the big boys on the block and we can help calm tensions throughout the world. Hopefully, when Trump gets in, he'll be able to do this. And I pray that he does. I pray for peace. I pray for the civilians. I pray, on any side, really. It doesn't matter. Not to me. I don't care. Civilians don't need to be involved in these political battles. Russian attacks killed 2 people on the right bank of the southern Ukrainian region of Kherson, a day after Ukraine acknowledged its foothold on the left bank was mostly destroyed. In the town of Belozovka, about 3 miles inland from the Dnieper River, massive strikes by Russian rocket artillery left 2 dead, said Kherson governor. At least 5 others in Kherson were wounded, including a paramedic who was hit by a drone while helping the injured. Unbelievable. Russian drones launched in an overnight attack in Ukraine hit energy infrastructure facilities in 2 regions in the country's north, the Reuters news agency reported, citing Ukraine regional officials. One of the Shahad drones hit an energy facility in the Sumy region, while another struck a site in the Chernkov region. There were no immediate reports of casualties. Ukraine air defenses forces shot down 13 of 17 Russian drones over 5 regions in the east, north, and center of the country, the Air Force said. Russia forces have captured the village of Ukharov in the Donetsk region in East Ukraine, according to Russia's military defense. The claim could not be independently verified. Russia shot down 26 Ukrainian drones overnight in the southern Rostov region, several hundred kilometers from the front line. The regional governor said, I'm not going to attempt his name, but there were no casualties. Thank God. No casualties. Beautiful. Last week, an oil depot in the Rostov region caught fire after a Ukrainian drone attack. So this is all on Al Jazeera, folks. I got a video here. We'll go ahead and play it, and then we'll take off.
It's a rare international summit that doesn't include the United States. For the European political community, that's exactly the point. More than 45 capitals represented from across the continent, minus Washington, the traditional guarantor of Europe's security. This is Europe looking out for its own in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
So we have maintained unity in Europe and are acting together, which means that Putin has missed his primary target. He has failed to create division in Europe.
That unity has seldom been more important as leaders consider the possibility of a second Trump presidency, ever more isolationist, antagonistic towards European security. And yet in their midst are some singing off the Putin
There's
Trump
Hungary's
hymn
President Viktor Orban.
They believe that they can destroy militarily the Russians, which I don't
Prime
think so,
Minister.
because I think that there is no solution of this conflict on the battlefield.
The US is by far the largest contributor to NATO and to Ukraine's defense, yet Donald Trump, when he was president last time, threatened to leave the alliance. And his pick for vice president this time, J.D. Vance, says he doesn't much care what happens to Ukraine. That would represent a fundamental upheaval of the security landscape in Europe, and every leader here knows it. Still, it's a great occasion for new UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, getting maximum international exposure just 2 weeks into the job. He's able to advance his twin foreign policy missions of resetting relations with the EU and stopping the flow of illegal migrants in small boats across the Channel.
We want to work with all of you to reset relationships, rediscover our common interests, and renew the bonds of trust and friendship that brighten the fabric of European life.
Huge lib.
And what more fitting a venue for it, with the continent's security once more in question, than Blenheim Palace, the birthplace of Britain's wartime leader, Winston Churchill. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, at Blenheim Palace.
All right, folks. Those are the news stories I found interesting this week, and I wanted to bring them to you real quick. We try to do it between 15 and 20 minutes every Saturday at 10 p.m. I'm Matt Truman, and this has been Truman's Town Hall. Until next time, until next Saturday, I'll still be Matt Truman. Tomorrow night, don't miss Rooster Doc and Friends at 8:45. It's our normal Sunday night Bible study. We do it at 8:45 on this channel where you're watching tonight and others. All right, we'll see you then.